$10,000 a month. If you're anywhere near so-called money Twitter, you'd know that this number floats around an awful lot. And I think it's because people generally take it as kind of a sign that if you're making $10,000 a month, at least in the US, where living costs are insanely high, you're generally pretty successful. Now, I used to kind of wonder about the significance of this number and why people used to think of things in months, and it kind of dawned on me recently. Once I figured out why people obsess about the $10,000 a month thing so much, I realized that there's a lot to learn there. So sometime mid-January 2024, I decided that starting in February, I would start setting kind of income goals for myself for each month as a way to force myself to grow. And it being only February 17th at the time of this recording, I can already say for sure that this has kind of changed everything for me. So if you're like me and you've been trying to build something on the internet for many years now, my first YouTube channel was Minecraft videos in, I think, 5th grade. And then you've had a number of other projects over the years, whether they've been successful or not. Basically, if you're like me, you've shot a lot of darts in a lot of different directions, and some things have worked, some things haven't. But one thing that occurred to me recently is that I've spent an awful lot of time doing nothing while feeling like I'm doing something. And thinking about income in terms of like a monthly goal has kind of changed everything for me and helps me eliminate the kind of useless work. So the first example of why this is a practical opinion is actually manifested in my new website. So I don't know how many of you guys follow me on Instagram. I've definitely gotten a few hundred followers since I've started this channel. But as you guys may know, I do work under the name Incartex. And about 6 to 8 months ago, I was in contact with somebody, essentially a mentor, just for kind of a one-off situation. And I've touched on this in other videos, but one thing he told me is that you should basically fish where the fish are and aim to support the needs of larger businesses, basically. So an example of this is if you're doing 3D renders, basically just angle your agency or your personal brand or even your freelancing brand to kind of target more of like a large scale company as opposed to like a tiny startup with no budget. Okay, so I realized while editing that was a little bit vague, so I just wanted to take a moment and clarify. What I mean by angling yourself for larger businesses is avoid language like, I'm an artist, DM me for commissions. That just makes you look a little bit like you're just, a kid at a computer, ironically. And you just kind of want to give off this sort of illusion or vibe that you're more of like a large established kind of designer as opposed to like a starving artist who's looking for commissions. So that's kind of what I mean by that. Enjoy the rest of the video. So I took this advice, and this advice was actually pretty profound for me. It really did shift my mindset quite a bit. But what it also did is when I started rebuilding my website to kind of focus on more of a commercial-sized audience, I got so in over my head on the details. I decided that as at the time, one-man operation, I needed to have my website be perfect. And so what this ended up causing was 4 to 6 months of basically unconcentrated work, kind of whenever I wanted. And I ended up also teaching myself Webflow for some reason, which is a pretty advanced web builder. It's not like some beginner kind of thing. Pretty much requires you to understand the fundamentals of HTML and CSS and all this other stuff. And the thing is, I never really had the intention of being a web designer, so I don't know why I wasted all this time building this website with Webflow. So looking back on it, what I should have done is just build a website with Squarespace or Wix or something simple and just get it done in like a week or less and start trying to print money from it. Now, I will say, I think the website came out really nice and I'm really proud of it, but had I spent less time on this website and more time on things that kind of pushed the needle forward, I think I would have been a lot further than where I am now. So to kind of talk about this mindset shift and make sense of the $10,000 thing I mentioned at the beginning, what I want you to do next month is if you're a freelancer of really any kind, so if you've never made money online before, go and set a $500 goal. And yes, this requires a little bit of setup. You should have a portfolio with like 3 strong pieces of work, maybe even a basic website, but by packaging your goals in such a way where you have a short period of time to get things done, you very quickly realize that so much of the work you do doesn't actually do anything. And whether your website animates when you scroll down or not isn't really going to affect whether you get the client or not. But yeah, this channel is getting to the size where I don't really want to talk specific numbers, but in about 17 days since February started, I've made pretty much double what I've ever made in a month prior, just by kind of implementing this mindset. It's becoming utterly clear to me that once you have just like the slightest bit of a system in place, like 3 works on your portfolio or a simple website, truly your only focus should be client outreach. And then once you get clients, basically just delegate your time properly so you're still looking for clients while you're finishing the other projects. Because that's another trap I wanted to talk about real quick. So believe me, I'm all for living in the present and being grateful for what you have. But if you're really trying to like make more in a month, in a short period of time, if you get a client for a project and let's say, you know, you're starting out and it's $500, but your goal is $1,000, don't stop there. Following some of the other videos I've made, you can implement some of the methods and try to shoot for just reaching out to 10 clients a day. And I know that there's a good chance that this may seem very obvious to some of you, like maybe some of you are already totally doing this. I just wanted to share kind of a mindset shift I had recently that basically instantly gave me results. So yeah, there's a lot of insanity spouted out on that side of Twitter. People acting like it's impossible to live off of $20,000 a month. But I think that is one of the craziest, most obvious principles that has been kind of hanging in front of my face this whole time, that just now when I start implementing does pretty crazy things for me. So I just wanted to get on here and give you guys something short and easy to work with. The goal of this channel, as always, is to give practical information that you guys can put to use right away. So I am Render and I make videos about making money with Blender, but I'd also like to start transitioning into just broader topics about making money online in general, because there's so much to learn and I feel like so much is gate-kept behind courses or whatever, that it helps me kind of keep track of my thoughts to make these videos and hopefully help some people along the way. So if you enjoyed, please leave a like and a subscribe. And if you want to join my Discord community, kind of curated towards 3D artists, that is in the description as well. I hope you enjoyed. This is Renderer. See ya.